Hello and welcome back to the Flower Barn Homestead. I'm Lily, and today I thought I would go over some of our most frequently asked questions here at the Flower Barn. I just was helping out with one of our classes last night, and I love classes because it's when I really get to interact with our customers, and these questions came up a lot. So I just thought I would make a little video and go over each of them. For those of you who are not familiar with my bakery, the Flower Barn, it is a little barn located on our family farm, and we're open on Fridays 8 to 11 and then on Saturdays 8 to 11. And we make cinnamon rolls, pastry, croissants, scones, cookies, breakfast sandwiches. We offer lots of different things, and then we also offer a full coffee menu. We have an espresso machine and lots of different coffee drinks and all that. So we are a full service bakery, and we also have a pre-order system. So you can order your items for Saturday so that you just have to come in and get what you want. Otherwise, you just come in, you check out the case, and you pick out what you want, and then you can take it home or eat it on our porch. First, I feel like I need to kind of give you guys a little family tree of who's who and who works for us. So the primary owners of the bakery are myself, my sister Ellen, who is my oldest sister, and then my dad. And then once we were about 2 years into our business, we were able to hire my other sister, Paige, full-time at our bakery. And then year 4, which is this year, we are able to add on my cousin, Lizzie. So she is also full-time at the bakery, and then she also works part-time at a local hospital. So we've been really lucky to be able to grow our business and then also include our family members in our success. So let's start off with an easy question. What time do we get up in the morning in order to bake everything in time to open at 8 a.m.? The quick answer is 3 o'clock, but really it staggers. So my dad is, you could call him the head baker, and he comes in at 3 a.m. and then the rest of us girls kind of trickle in as the morning goes on. So Ellen probably gets there at 4. I think Paige gets there at 4. She might get there earlier sometime. And then I usually get there the latest at 4:30. Question I get asked a lot is, have I always liked to bake? And the answer for me is no, I have not always liked to bake. It's really my sister Ellen who has always had a talent and a passion for baking. When she was in high school, she owned her own sweets business called Ellen Simple Sweets, and she made cakes for high school banquets and kids' birthday parties and all that, and she did that into college. She did go to college for nursing, and she ended up becoming a NICU nurse, and that is when she had to step back from her first baking business to continue with her nursing career. While she was nursing, she was working night shift, so she would go to work in the night, and then on her days off, she would still kind of be in that night shift schedule, so she'd kind of sleep during the day and then be baking all night. So she's been a baking queen for a long time, and I would say my passion for baking came a lot later. So when I was in college, COVID was kind of in my college experience, so I also went to school for nursing. And while I was in school, I was changed from in-person to at home schooling. So while I was at home, I started to bake like many of us during COVID, and I wanted to get good at it. So what I did is I devoted myself to a book called the Bouchon Bakery Cookbook or Baking Book, and I just went through that book recipe by recipe, and I made something new every single day. And I actually sold to the people who lived in my apartment complex. So I had my own little micro bakery, and I really baked 5 days a week, every single week. So that is what really got me hooked on baking, gave me a love for selling baked goods, because that might sound greedy, but there really is something amazing about connecting with your community in ways that you wouldn't normally. Like, I would never have met probably most of my neighbors unless I had sold them bread or cookies or whatever. So yeah, not always did I love baking, but once I got into it more, I definitely fell in love with it. So the question I probably get asked the most often is, how did you start the Flower Barn Bakery? And it's kind of a complicated answer in that so many things happened in each of our lives that really made it a perfect time to start the bakery. I'd say the first thing that happened is Ellen had her first baby, and she wanted to step away from nursing, which she had been doing for 5 years, and focus more on her family. She wanted to be home more, she wanted to be close to home more, and nursing was just becoming too much for her at the time. So she wanted to start kind of getting back into her cake business that I had mentioned before. And she started picking up some weddings, and she started picking up some larger events. And then, she doesn't like me to reference COVID, but when COVID happened, a lot of large events were canceled, and all of that money that she was kind of hoping for and expecting, those cakes that were for 300 people got changed to little cutting cakes, or the weddings got canceled altogether. So in shifting gears, she started to sell cookie kits to the community. And so that really took off. A lot of people bought her cookie kits, and she thought, oh, I have this group of customers that I know will come buy stuff from me. I should try offering other things for them to purchase. So while she is doing this, I am in nursing school, and as I mentioned, I went from, being a full-time student in person to all of a sudden being home a lot. So I came home when I didn't have class, or if I just had class online, and I would help Ellen with her little cookie business that she had going on then. At the same time, my dad also was working from home, and so he started helping us with the cookies as well. So we had this little cookie business, and then we thought, what else can we sell that would be a good pre-order or delivery item? So we ended up thinking of our brioche cinnamon roll recipe, and we started selling cinnamon rolls. And so we sold cinnamon rolls in the summer, and then we sold them in the fall, and then when winter came, Christmas cinnamon rolls was a huge success for us, and we actually continued to have success with the cinnamon rolls into February, March, and then into the summer. So this success was a surprise to us, but also a very exciting thing. And so my dad, his company actually offered him a buyout that spring, and he decided to take it and to help Ellen to pursue her dream in this bakery. So I know there's a lot to this story. So me and Ellen, one weekend, my parents went away for a little mini vacation, and it was me and Ellen home, and we thought, what if we just tried opening the bakery up to the public for one weekend on the porch and have a little porch sale. We had suggested this before, but it just made my dad so nervous, it made my mom so nervous, so we waited till they left, and we kind of threw it together in 1 week, and we had this pop up on the porch sale. Well, all we did was advertise it on Facebook, and we're like, maybe no one will show up, maybe we'll have a couple customers. It ended up being very successful. We had lots of people come, and we sold out very quickly. So then when my parents got back, we're like, listen, we have to do this again. We have to do the pop-up on the porch sale again. And so they're like, okay, maybe once a month we're open on Saturdays and do a pop-up, and then just continue with our pre-order situation. Well, once a month turned into every weekend, and so for the past 3 years, we've been open every Saturday from 8 to 11, and those have been our hours. We now have expanded to Fridays and Saturdays, 8 to 11. But how I got involved with the bakery is that May, so we had just started being open on Saturdays. I want to say maybe every weekend, and my memory could be fuzzy because a lot was going on at this time. But I do remember that in April or May, our sales were really increasing, and it became clear that we could all make a full-time income. Not like, we weren't rich or anything, and it wasn't what my nurse's salary would be, but we were making enough where I could make a full-time income at the bakery. So I had decided to, instead of becoming a nurse and taking a nursing job, I would just work at the bakery full-time. And this was a big decision, but it was one that I just felt so sure about. Everyone's like, oh, that must have been so scary. And I don't know if I was just so young that I just didn't have the sense to be nervous, but I wasn't nervous. And so that is how we all kind of threw ourselves into the bakery. And since then, we've been able to work together to grow it, and we now have 2 full-time employees, and it's just become something that we never expected it to be, but it's really a dream come true. So along the lines of some of the other questions, people ask me, you know, why did you want to start a bakery? And I think the real reason is our priority has always been to be moms. I have 2 little ones. I have a 3-year-old son and a 1-year-old daughter. And Ellen is actually expecting her 5th child. So she's very busy. But we wanted to do something that allowed us to make some money for our families, but also be very present with our children. And I think what gave me the confidence that it would be good for us is, and I don't want to get too preachy or anything, but I was in church one day and I was surrounded by my friends and my family, and I just had this idea of opening a bakery with my sister because I knew she was so talented at baking. And I just thought, what a joyful life it would be to own a bakery and be working out in the bakery and have our children playing out on the porch and around us. And it just felt like that would be a peaceful life. And I just felt like we could do it, and that if we did do it, it wouldn't be something we would regret, and it would be something that could even be a legacy for our children down the road. And so I think that's what gave me the confidence and the excitement that this was going to be all work out okay. And it really has. And I think that is the biggest blessing. For those of you who have kind of followed us from the Flour Barn Homestead side, you might be wondering what a micro bakery is. I have heard a lot of people like, are you even a micro bakery? You know, you do have your own location. We do consider ourselves a micro bakery because of our limited hours and our unique setup. So micro bakery is really just a small bakery that focuses more on quality over quantity, and I think more focuses on a community aspect of baking and selling. So a regular bakery would probably most likely be open every day, be making larger amounts of baked goods, and so that is why we consider ourselves a micro bakery. I would say the most common thought when you hear micro bakery is at-home bakers, and we both have experience with having at-home bakeries. So that's where we give our advice from, is our own experience, each owning our own micro bakeries before coming together and owning our current micro bakery, the Flour Barn. So not everyone knows about the Flour Barn Homestead versus the Flour Barn. Some people are familiar with Flour Barn Homestead and aren't with the Flour Barn, and others vice versa. So the Flour Barn is the name of our bakery. The Flour Barn Homestead is the name of our blog and YouTube channel. So our blog was created to kind of supplement our classes. We, like I said, teach classes every Tuesday on baking, cooking, homesteading. So we would have our class and then have a blog article associated with that class that had all the referencing recipes and tools. We had links to tools through our blog that just would kind of help our students in our classes. Once we started it for the classes, we took a class through Farmhouse on Boone. She has a class, Lisa Bass. And so we took that class and became very inspired that this could be another avenue for us to be able to make money for our families. And so we started adding more and more recipes and some more tips on how to create your own bakery, things like that. And this year we have become monetized through the bakery, so we actually make some money on our bakery. So every view we get gets us money through ads and stuff like that. That's why you see some ads on our website, theflourbarnhomestead.com. And then now we're kind of trying to start adding videos to supplement the blog. So I would love for when you look up our sourdough cinnamon roll recipe, I've been trying to add videos to each of our recipes. And then also make some content that allows people to kind of get to know us a little bit more. And hopefully my dream would be that we could help people who also want to do something similar to us, whether it be start a blog or start a micro bakery, start a brick and mortar bakery. I really just would love to help anyone who has a dream like that. If I could provide anything to help them to achieve it, that would be the best thing that could come out of this YouTube channel. A fun question that I get asked a lot is, what is my favorite thing to bake? And for me, it is definitely brioche bread. I think Ellen would say sourdough. She loves experimenting with sourdough recipes, and she also just makes the best sourdough bread. But I love, so like cinnamon rolls, those are a brioche base. And I love making like babka breads. Anything that has to do with brioche, I love to do it. So danishes, when we got the sheeter, which is a machine that helps us to laminate our dough, that was the most exciting thing for me because I love a flaky pastry, and being able to make my own was just so exciting. So I would say anything with brioche. So thank you for sticking around for this video. I know it was fairly long, but I'm just glad I was able to share all of that with you. I feel like I get those questions a lot, so now you have it all here, and I'm not answering them ever again. I'm just gonna reference this video. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure I'll give you a lengthy response if you ask me. But I mentioned that we have a blog, and now we have this YouTube channel, and we have a Facebook page and an Instagram. So theflowerbarnhomestead.com, Flower Barn on Instagram, and The Flower Barn on Facebook, and The Flower Barn Homestead on YouTube. So like, subscribe, and if you want more content like this, head over to theflowerbarnhomestead.com for recipes, tips, and I also have a post that includes the story more summarized. So I'll link that below. All right, thank you. Have a good one.